Chili peppers, jalapeno peppers, pimento peppers.
I believe my gardening started around 2012, right after I got married, because my wife enjoyed flowers, so I decided to make a garden bed next to the stairs in the house. And then that turned into another garden bed in front of the house, a garden bed beside the house, and a garden bed behind the house. My wife really enjoyed planting plants, mainly perennials, but also annuals. In 2019, I decided to step it up, and I bought a kit of 2 4 feet by 4 feet raised garden beds, and I of course installed irrigation to keep them nurtured. In very early 2021, I decided to start playing with a grow tent and hydroponics. That season, I also decided to build a greenhouse, and that's when I started making YouTube videos. Be sure to check out the YouTube videos of Greenhouse.
We had a freeze which killed off a lot of these. Good Saturday morning, everyone. It's 60 degrees, the sun is out. Most of the trees have leaves on them. Some are still developing their leaves over here. Honestly, I thought this tree was dead, but it is budding, so we'll see if it'll make it another year. Its sister over there died last year. For today, it's time to get the garden ready. We have onions that have been growing in this grow bag, and I'll probably just put some more soil in there and just keep that as a self. And then we've got onions here, we've got onions here, and then we've got lettuce growing over there. Just like every season, the soil compacts down, the plants inside there rot away, and so we've got to do a little bit of work to bring it up higher to the top here. And you can see here, this is the compost that worked its way in last year. We put some composting stuff to compost in there, and the worms have gotten it. So we got some compost in there, and we got some more of that compost in here. So for today, we're going to come through here, we're going to pick out all the weeds here, and we're going to, there's the lettuce there. I'm going to try to raise this up without destroying the root structure and put some soil underneath it as the plan. I may end up actually, what I'll probably do is I'll probably relocate the lettuce over to here somewhere and then fill up the soil over there. That's the plan. Well, last year I tried something new. I wasn't that happy with the way it turned out, but I tried these grow bags to grow additional product. And as you can see, the grow bags took on a lot of weeds. But we grew banana peppers, tomatoes over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take all the soil out of these grow bags. I'm going to recycle it. I'm going to move it into the grow beds. And then I'm going to go out and buy some commercially grade soil and black cow manure. And we'll come in here and we'll actually raise these beds up, give them more nutrients, get them prepared so next weekend I can go to a greenhouse and buy some plants and put them in the ground. As you can see here, our strawberry plant is starting. We got a lot more strawberries than we did last year. I've done absolutely nothing to this over the winter. I've been a really bad gardener this year, and I've just kind of let everything go. But the strawberries did come back. My wife said she thinks the onions just came back because she doesn't remember planting anything here. This one here did get planted. And then, of course, these were the onions from last year that we were eating those through the winter, believe it or not. Even though we had many freezes and many frosts, we did eat that. Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of weeds through here. Maybe this year the budget will allow me to actually spread this gravel around so that it'll help hamper the weeds a little bit. As you can see, there's still weeds that grow through here, even though I put down, basically garden cloth, weed protector. The weeds still do get through there. Now the greenhouse is another subject. Going to clean out all this mess. These are the old tomato plants and the old pepper plants and everything. I'm going to take. As you can see, we've got mushroom compost from last year. We've got peat moss. We've got some high quality. We've got some black cow. I've got another bag of black cow over there. So I'm going to go through and see exactly what I have so far and then go out and buy some more, because I'm not going to spend a lot of money this year on the garden. And I'm definitely not going to go as overboard as I did last year. In this bucket right here, I have the organic soil treatments, earthworm castings, some fertilizer for fertilizer, bone meal. So I've got that stuff there. So I'm going to go ahead and treat all these beds as I do it. First things first, I'm going to clean out these beds. Second thing, I'm going to get rid of the weeds out of this one and go ahead and put the soil in the raised beds to raise the levels up a little bit. And then we'll see how far we get today. The goal is next week we'll be able to plant some stuff. Okay, so I've emptied about 3 of those bags of soil there, and I brought it up. I put some mushroom compost on from last year, earthworm castings, and some black cow manure. And believe it or not, there are worms that are all in this cow manure. So go into your new home. Make me lots of poop. We are out of soil here. I'll probably come and break those leaves up and put them on top here, on top of the bed, but we've filled this one up, and we filled this one up. We moved the lettuce plants over to this new location, and to be honest with you, they're not happy, so we'll see if they make it. Anyway, supposedly you could transplant it, but anyway, we will see. If I just took out the lettuce, maybe we should have eaten it first. But I ran out of soil for these beds, so we'll have to relocate to another project. And I think I'm going to leave these onions just exactly the way they are inside this cloth bin. And well, first part is we head off to the local home center and start stocking up on supplies. Came back from the garden center, and the garden soil was only $4 a bundle, and I went like, wow. Then we got in there and I bought 8 of them, and I realized how small they are. Normally we buy the 2 cubic feet of bags. Underneath there they had mulch 5 bags for $10. This doesn't last as long. I've got all the black cow, and then I brought back some hay. You can see the hay. Tons of bags of perlite, blood meal, earthworm castings. I've got some red lava rock, some plants over there, and some fertilizers and everything. So now it's the fun part, unloading. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think I got 16 bags of garden soil, 5 bags of black cow. There's another one over there. I got 4 bags of perlite, and 1 bag of blood meal. I'll use that to kind of fertilize a little bit. Bone meal, earthworm castings, and then earthworm castings from last year. So I should be pretty good to go. I have a large bag left of peat moss that I'll be mixing up in here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to mix up my normal soil mix, and I'll just stick it on top to raise it up just a little bit, and then put a little bit of black cow on top. Here I'm going to need to add a lot more soil. That'll be perlite, black cow, and garden soil mixture. I want to raise it up, and then this bed right here has a lot of raising to do. So I believe what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the onion plants here and maybe fold this bag down a little bit, but kind of keep the onions kind of inside there. And right here I'm going to plant cucumbers. I'll plant cucumbers on both sides of this trellis, so they'll come up and meet in the center. I'm going to put some soil in here, and then on the plan for today, I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy some vegetables and plant them. But we will see how far I get. I may just make it to the greenhouse and may end up planting those tomorrow. Another thing I'm doing new this year is I bought hay, and a lot of people put straw down. I put pine straw down last year, but I'm just going to put
I will not use the hay again as a
to cover
plant cover, as it introduced way too many weeds.
I'm not certain what Chiquita's looking for in there, but she's got her nose on something. There's been tons of lizards I've seen through here, and there's been snakes, so maybe she's got her nose on scaring something out of here. Black cow manure, garden soil, perlite, and peat moss, and I mixed those up, and I spread some earth castings on top, and I put that in here. I put some topsoil over off all the beds. I've still got to do this one, so I'll use what's left up over here. Filled this one up a little bit more, and now I'm going to move into the greenhouse. So now that I've put some new soil in, I've raised it up, I've replenished the nutrients. So we will see. This soil right here is probably the oldest soil. Last year I took the soil out of here to fill up the raised garden beds and replaced it with new soil. So this soil here has never really been replaced. So I guess the next step is to go and grab herself some plants. Let's check on Martha and see how her project is going. Oh wow, much better. And I'm gonna run to the greenhouse. Are you sure you don't want to go? You enjoy being out here with your mommy? I guess the next step is to go buy some plants. Oh yeah, the spray 8s. These were the cucumbers that Martha liked. The big boy tomatoes.
And for the past couple of years, I've made the trip a little bit north to Woodstock and drop in on this greenhouse. This year, I visited the greenhouse a little bit late, so there was not as much selection to go through, but still I bought too many plants.
I never knew they were any good because they were the wrong color. Ambrosia melon. What it takes to grow melons? Chili peppers, jalapeno peppers, okay, we have the sweet peppers. The Big Bertha. Oh, banana peppers, yeah. Oh, here's basil. Can we get Martha one of these Cuban oreganos? That's kind of cool. Yeah. I am back from the nursery and I'm kind of laying out the plants. Now each little item there has four plants inside there. So what I did last year and was very successful with it is I planted 2 of the same type of pepper in line with one another. And then with the tomatoes, I put this tomato cage down and I planted a tomato plant on one edge and one on the other edge so I could use one tomato cage and do 2 plants, and that seemed to be fairly successful. So I got a total of 8 big boy tomatoes, a total of 4 San Lorenzo tomatoes, which are supposed to be kind of like Roma tomatoes, and I got 4 celebrity tomatoes. Actually, I got 8 of the San Lorenzo, and then 4 of the lemon boys. And I got a total of 12 cucumber plants. I'm only going to plant probably, maybe 6 of those. But I got burpless and the straight edge. So when I did the cucumber plants, I'm just going to have those right up the trellis here. So I'll plant probably 4 in this area and 4 in this area and try to get them to ride up the side here. So we got an idea what we're doing. And then when I plant the tomatoes, I put a basil plant. I put the basil plant with the tomatoes. What we put in here, I'm not going to put as many plants in here this year as I did last year. As you can see, the progress of the plants. We're starting to get the cucumber plants up, so they're gonna have to start routing them around. And our tomato plants are starting to grow, so we're gonna need to watch on top of them to make sure we rearrange them so they get the support they need. I've had 2 days of salads, great lettuce outcome there, and we've got a couple strawberries here. But we are, the beds are going really good on the outside. The pepper plants are starting to really take off. We've got 2 tomato plants over here. We've got our basil plant here, and then these are different melon plants, and I don't even know what these plants are, but they're going to get way too big for this room here. But I'm going to get started today because obviously I need more gardening room. And I really like these raised garden beds. I would like to eventually put raised garden beds in the greenhouse. These raised garden beds really do make gardening so much better. Today, I'm going to take on putting together a medium tall Birdies raised bed. I'm most likely going to do it in the 6 foot by 3 foot configuration, and I'm going to install it back behind the greenhouse. So the first thing I'm going to do today is try to get it installed, and then as time goes by, maybe over the weekend, I'll level the area up, put down the mesh down below, and start filling it up over the weekend. Maybe with a little bit of luck I can get some soil in it by next week. So we've got 4 of the straight long pieces, and then we've got 2 of the 14-inch straight pieces. This is a metal support that's supposed to go in the middle of it to hold it together. I've gotten a few questions on my YouTube page about this, and I've never had any bowing issues with any of my Birdies beds yet. Now keep in mind, I'm keeping the Birdies beds in a pretty skinny format. So they're only, I don't know, I'd say 16 to 20 inches wide at the most. So maybe that's a problem that comes down when they're actually wider. But I will, with the 3 foot wide, I'll probably put this in the middle for support. They also give us the plastic edging on the side, and that helps to basically protect your body from catching on the metal. I've also got the screws. It comes with a little wrench there, and we've got the instructions. The medium tall garden bed, and what tall means is it means that it's 28 to 30 inches tall, and it's so you basically don't have to bend down too much. Now the one thing is, with these deep garden beds, you kind of have a trade-off. They're a lot taller, they're easier to work with, you don't have to bend down so far, but you've got to fill them up with a lot of stuff. And don't bankrupt yourself by filling them up with soil. I fill them up with wood, branches, leaves, and some low quality soil, and then I start putting the other soil on top. But anyway, this is we have the option of a 7 foot by 2 foot, a 6 foot by 3 foot. The 6 foot by 3 foot is what I'm going to do. You can do 5 by 4, a 4 by 3, a 6 by 2, and a 1 foot by 1 foot. And if you go to their website, it tells you exactly how much cubic yards of soil you're going to need. I've got myself a Tupperware dish, so I can pour that in there, make it easily accessible. Socket wrench. I'm not certain if this is the correct socket for this, but I will go and verify that. Got myself a screwdriver, and they highly recommend gloves to keep yourself from cutting yourself. A little over an hour and a half later, and keep in mind I walked away on another project and I have this done. The hardest part is basically just holding these things in to put the screws in, put the nuts on the other side. I go through there and just real quickly finger tighten it, and finger tighten it loosely, because when you move these around as you go down the bottom, you may need to adjust it a little bit. And then I go in here, and once I'm done adjusting it, then I tighten it up and everything else. Anyway, they have a little Birdies mark, so I want to make sure I put that so it's facing up. Let me go ahead and move it to where I want to put it. Okay, so here is a rough idea of where I want to put it. Now I'm going to come out, I'll bring the wheelbarrow out. I want to leave just enough room to get the wheelbarrow in there. So I'll do that, and then I'll take some measurements and I'll measure it to make sure it's kind of square with the fence. As you can tell, this land slopes downhill quite a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some time to actually level it out. Take that side down, bring that side back up to make it level. And I'll do that by basically kind of shoveling in there a little bit, moving some of the inner dirt or the actual grass and stuff like that, moving it into there. And then I'm going to put my metal mesh down and start and go ahead and run my irrigation pipe. I'll actually have an irrigation pipe that'll go into the greenhouse and make connection in there, and then that way I can add the irrigation down the road. I'll put my metal mesh down, go ahead and put some firewood or some wood that's cut up over there, and then put a bunch of branches and stuff like that, leaves and stuff like that, and I'll fill it up halfway up with decomposable material, and then I'll get some soil. So follow me in a couple days as I fill it up using the horticulture method. So here's the bed, and I've already kind of dug it out so it'll be leveled. I dug out some over here. I packed it up so it's stacked up over there, and then as I put soil in it and stuff like that, it'll cake it down in there. I dug down in there, I ran my pipe that's going to intersect with the planters inside there, and I went out and I bought some power cable, so I'm going to real quickly run that, and I'll probably run a loop high enough to get to the top of the bed. I'm gonna go ahead and dig it out to right here so that so I can run it that way. We have had a productive day today. Anyway, I put the wheelbarrow here. It's kind of a little bit of a block to keep the dogs from going back there. We normally have a fence around it. At the bottom of the compost, they call that kind of like a black gold, because it's just got all the nutrients that have rotted and compost material and everything else. And so I put that on top, and then I tore up the cardboard boxes and stuff like that and allowed that to get in there. I don't know how much 3 cubic yards of soil is going to use, but I'm a little bit fuller than I thought I would be. So, and I haven't put any firewood in there, and I haven't put any branches or anything, and be ready for the soil. The soil's going to get delivered on Monday, so that'll probably be the first thing that I do is fill this up. We got our delivery today, and I got 2 tons of they call it egg gravel, so it's a little bit bigger than pea gravel, although it's got some smaller size gravel in there, but it's got some larger size gravel. And we've got another cubic yard of mulch. So today is the day I'm getting that placed in the bed. Well, late afternoon yesterday, well, actually about 8 o'clock last night, I filled up the bed and got the bud mostly full with soil and everything else. I need to basically water it real good and get some water in there. This is the remaining soil. I actually just have this in I wrapped it up in the tarp and everything else. But today I'm going to get started on putting rocks. I've got 2 tons of rocks that I'm going to go ahead and start putting and covering up in this area here. And I'll start here first, and then I'll try to duplicate that side over. I'll try to duplicate that side over there, and do the same thing over here. Whatever stone I have left, I'll go ahead and dump into this area here to create a walkway through here. I'll put down some edging to keep it from dripping, poking into the other yard, but that'll be the next step. As I've determined the angle at which I wanted my bed to be, I took the shovel and just real quickly kind of just pushed in about ½ inch, maybe an inch. Just went through here and defined where I want to do the barrier. Now take the barrier out. Great. Get a little less stuff that'll grow through. Back the camera up a little bit so you can see the whole corner. And I'm going to do a time lapse of me doing this work. All right, well, you're done. About 6 o'clock. It's a very hot day. It started out raining with some big thunderstorms in the morning. Memorial Day weekend. Today is Memorial Day. Remembering all the troops that gave up their lives to allow us the freedoms that we have. But I didn't really celebrate much as I have been sick the entire weekend. But anyway, today I feel like I'm going to at least try to tackle something. You can hear the wheezing in my voice. But anyway, I'm going to put down some weed retardant, put down the edging, and put some rocks down through here. I bought some stones, some of these 1-inch red stepping stones, so I'm going to put those down. So not as many rocks are needed, but I will put that down in there and fill that area in. It's going to be a tight fit getting in there. I'm going to pull up all the weeds of all the old plants and everything else, and pull the trash out of there, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this down. I put a couple of heart-stopping hours into this. It definitely looks much better than it did before. I can walk back through here. Looks a lot better. I can walk back through here without any being in mud and everything else. What a delightful, cooler day out here in Georgia. Real quickly, I'm going to spend a little bit of time. I'm going to finish the irrigation system. I bought the 1/2-inch hose, so I have plenty of hose. I'm going to go ahead and route it around, finish putting these connectors in, and go ahead.
For the top layer of screws, I install 1/2-inch EMT conduit straps, and I'm going to use this to hold the pipe in place. So I slide the drip pipe through the conduit straps. And I use pliers to crimp these connectors down to hold the pipe tight. Good morning, Paul's here. I'm recovering from being sick, so I haven't done any real work lately, but I'm on the return side of bronchitis. So, but anyway, I'm kind of sick of being in the house, and I have so much work to do. So I think today I'm going to add the stone to this area here, roll out the weed barrier, and I'm going to roll it through here, and then I'll start dumping the stones into here. Or this area here is muddy around the new bed, so I may end up putting the stone down here, but we'll have to just see how much I have left once I'm done. Again, I wanted to finish this project this weekend, but I don't think I have the gusto to do it, so I'm just going to do a little bit here and there. I've made good progress. What I did is I actually laid down new weed cloth, and I took up the stones that were already there, put the weed cloth underneath it, and then compacted those stones back down. The next project I'm going to work on is I'm going to go over here to the other side, and just from working over here, this area turned into mud. I brought the dirt that I scraped away over here that had the weeds and stuff like that. I'm going to use that dirt to kind of level just at least this bed area out. And if I have enough weed killer, I'm going to go ahead and spread that out and go ahead and put that down. Got the fabric cloth down. I also leveled this out quite a bit. One wheelbarrow full, and I almost filled up the whole area. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just basically stack this up as a pile here. Today's project, we're going to continue with the yard cleanup theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through here. I'm going to lay out the pattern here. I'm going to scrape up. First of all, I'm going to move all this rock into this area here, and I'm going to scrape up the grass and lay down some weed barrier. I'll actually pull the steps up, and then I'll lay down the weed barrier on top of it, and lay down the weed barrier and then put the steps back in place. And once I get all that done, then I'll just spray out my lava rock. Now I've got, I think, 5 bags of lava rock. That may not be enough, but that'll be enough to get started, and so I'll know exactly how much more I need to purchase. So if I get the actual weed barrier down and get that part done, that'll be a huge part of it. And so let me get started. Got most of it done. I put the weed barrier down. You can see a little bit through the rocks. I'll probably sprinkle a little bit of dirt in here to kind of help hold the stone down and cover up the weed barrier. I don't know, but anyway, I've probably got
I had 5 bags of the lava rock. I'm probably gonna need need about 3 or 4 more. I'm gonna go ahead and get 5 more. I'm gonna go ahead and spread some lava rock down here to refill up this area here. Probably put a little bit more gravel in there. I've got a little bit of spare gravel left, so I can put that in there. But for a quick project, it was quick. It took me a little bit more to hammer the...
Sorry, not much feedback from the garden this year. 2024 was a very busy year. Make sure to check out the other videos from 2024.
I hope you've enjoyed this project. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And I hope you have more fun than I do.
The sun's almost gone. If you look... So, anyway, at 10:30, it is there's a little bit too much. This thing will just eat. I've seen 3 of these completely eat all the leaves from a tomato plant over a day or 2.